Hi, and welcome to the Seated Podcast with Furniture Row. I'm Jessa, Creative Director and Design Extraordinaire.
And I'm Barb, Interior Designer and Buyer.
Welcome, everyone, back to the Seated Podcast. You'll notice a little change here today. We don't have Barb, but we have Nikki. Nikki Strickler is here with us in honor of Furniture Row's sponsorship of the Denver Fashion Week. We're really excited to kind of get into trends from the catwalk to the couch. And just talking about how runway trends can really inspire interiors because, believe it or not, they can. And there's a lot that you can learn and take from what's trending in clothing fashion to inform what's going to look great in your home. So, Barb will be back. But today we're talking with Nikki.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Excited.
Nikki has modeled for international brands such as Coach and a variety of others.
Yeah, I worked with Coach, Tom Ford, Rebecca Minkoff, Dry Bar, to name a few.
And right now you are with Denver Fashion Week as the runway coordinator. Right?
Yes, the runway producer. Correct.
Runway producer.
Yes.
That's awesome. So do you want to kind of get into your journey there and your background in fashion and modeling?
Absolutely. It's funny, I started modeling when I was 15, but I didn't have really any interest in this industry. I played soccer and ran track and stuff, so I was always like, I'm an athlete. I'd been scouted a few times, but it didn't seem like the journey for me.
Right.
Are you familiar with Barbizon?
Mm-mm.
You ever heard of it? They used to do commercials back in the day that would be like, be a model or just look like one. But it was.
We had one of those in San Diego where I grew up, but it was called something else.
Yeah, it was a modeling school and personal development. So I took some training there and ended up liking the industry. But I walked in Denver Fashion Week. It was called Denver Fashion Weekend back then.
Okay.
But in 2012 or 13, it was a while, and walked in there for a few seasons, really started to love runway, get that under my belt. I ended up moving to Los Angeles and modeling full-time for a while. But when I moved home, I became the model coordinator for Denver Fashion Week. And now I'm the runway producer. She just works the way up the chain a little bit.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what kind of goes into producing the runway?
Right. So anything that you see on the runway is like a product of either my selection or organization. So I choose all the brands that are showing collections on the runway. And then I also select the models. We book hair and makeup teams and then, collect all AV content to make sure it's like visually presented how they would like to as well. So my job is kind of hand-holding a lot, the masses of the people and just keeping it organized, making sure things are getting turned in on time, ideas are flowing, they have concepts, it fits the show themes, that kind of thing.
That sounds super creative.
Yeah.
I've always thought that putting together the aesthetics for a runway would be fun and choosing the music for different designers. Do you get to do that, or is that more a designer level?
It kind of depends on the producer's style of what they want to be in control of, I would say.
Okay.
I do like to give the brands and designers a choice just because music can be a big part of their storytelling sometimes, and then other times it has nothing to do with anything for them. So there are times that they'll give me like a genre or throw the ball in our court, and usually I let the DJ handle it because they're a professional DJ.
They're like, what goes with this?
But
you choose.
I definitely have daydreamed of what it would be like for it to all be my decision, and it's totally possible. I just haven't decided to do that yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When I think of it, I'm like, you could have like fire in the background.
Yeah.
But pyrotechnics with clothes that could get in hairspray could be a problem.
There's a lot of fun ideas that people will throw out. Sometimes my mom suggested once that brands choose a scent that they want blasted into the audience.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I don't know how we would make that happen, but I do. I'm like, there's fun creative ideas to make it a cool experience live and in person, but then make sure it also like translates well to photos and media and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, scent marketing's like a huge thing, whether it's hotels or different
Right.
interior brands. But yeah, it's almost like you would have to
Yeah.
find a way to clear that scent after
Coffee beans.
Yeah, right. Just like waft coffee beans like into the vents or something like that to clear the room between every scent. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool ideas out there. I think honestly, like story playing tells a huge role in fashion shows though, between the scent and like just different whatever designers you're working with or the theme. You really have to curate the lighting and I would think visuals behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I am pretty hands-on with them, but everyone's creative process is so different that it would be hard to try to like micromanage 50 different designers that are showing, you know, over the course of the week. So it is really impressive to see the creative process and how they kind of come up with what is important to them, whether it is like they are projecting a video in the back that contributes to the line, or they want the lights a certain way, certain color schemes. It is really cool to kind of see what is important to them when showing on the runway, especially because an audience member, I don't know that you would consider all of those elements to be like part of their process.
You're right. Part of the show. It's just kind of like once it's there, you feel the vibe, but you don't really recognize the little pieces that go into putting it together. But that's kind of very true for like interior design too, and like the way, you know, people organize their home and like the little lighting decisions and you know, even like if you have a light switch panel in your home, like instead of going with the standard one, putting in something a little bit more designed for those little touches really help you tell the story of your life to yourself every day. So I think we are seeing a lot more crossover too between like what people wear and like, you know, runway fashion and home fashion, because I think people, it's not just about how you look anymore. It's like how you want to feel. And obviously clothes influence how you feel. What you wear influences how you feel. But like your home influences your everyday so much. And especially with the pandemic, like people being home all the time.
Yeah.
Like I think they're realizing how important their space is, and not just like going to spaces that make them feel a certain way, but being in a space that makes them feel a certain way. So it's kind of like there's a big relationship between fashion and furniture for consumers lately. And,
yeah, I would absolutely agree. What I always have said that I love about the fashion industry is that clothes are so powerful, and you do get to wake up every day and kind of decide how you want to be portrayed and perceived to the world.
Yeah.
Which obviously with clothes, it's easier to switch that up a little more so than furniture in your living space. But I do think like, you know, having the core of what you like in like your couches or your centerpieces, your tables, that type of thing, and then adding pillows and the fun accents, it like, kind of is the same idea of like, I want to feel in my space today.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're like really drawn to something too, like, you know, if you love kind of dressing boho or living that lifestyle, or you love the Ralph Lauren look, like kind of, why not bring it also into your home? Like I love a high-low moment in fashion so much, like Converse with a blazer, you know, but you know, why not? I feel like you see that so much in interior design too. Like there's lots of examples, whether it's like concrete countertops or, you know, I'm trying to think of other examples.
Yeah, kind of having like hards and softs.
Yeah, hards and softs, and a mixture of textures.
Like dark and mysterious.
Yeah, exactly. Like that contrast. But there are a lot of opportunities to kind of just like live out your fashion tastes, not just in your clothes, but in your house.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like with the holidays coming up too, that's something that I've been seeing on social media a lot, is people talking about Ralph Lauren Christmas.
Yeah.
And kind of how to achieve that aesthetic. Yeah. So that is like, it's funny to see it. being relevant, with the seasons changing.
Yeah, totally. And there's a lot of designers now that are translating their lines into furniture collections. Like we've seen it for a long time with Anthropology and Urban Outfitters, but like we were saying, there's Ralph Lauren. These sconces are actually Ralph Lauren, so that's kind of fun. And then Fendi, Versace, like all of them have
Versace comes to mind for sure first, like up there for me. And it is cool to see like how their design style can translate into like homeware or furniture, because like when I think of like the Versace pattern, I do think like gaudy and kind of gold and like those interesting accents, and then that's what they make, so that makes sense
in their home line as well. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's like these furniture or designer brands, it's a lifestyle and like a full, like you're supposed to buy into it and be really like brand loyal, I guess, is their goal. So why wouldn't you just fully be like, we can be everywhere in your life?
I teach modeling classes as well for some agencies in Denver. And I always tell my students when we're talking about the difference between commercial modeling and high fashion modeling, which is, something that I make sure we have like both ends of the spectrum in Denver Fashion Week, because it is interesting to see. But I always say that you can tell when a brand or a designer is considered high fashion, and it's because they are trying to sell you like a feeling of luxury instead of just like this coat would look cool on you. Whereas, commercial brands, if you think like Target, they're going to be a lot more like inclusive and diverse in their marketing and stuff because they want to appeal to the everyday person. Whereas, these designers are not trying to do that. They want to appeal to a small amount.
Well, marketing in general has just gotten so niche too. Like what works for one person, whether it's fashion or interior design, is going to be totally different for another person. Like every year we go to, it's basically like the fashion week of the furniture industry, and it's in High Point, North Carolina. It's called High Point Market. But anyway, a lot of the furniture designers and producers are kind of like bringing their new collections out. And they really have to do a lot of trend casting with what they think is going to hit, and be, like what big brands are going to buy. And so they'll make like one version of something, and then when they get orders, then they run it. But like that's so much, forecasting to have to do. But it's just, you really have to tell a story there. And
that process is similar in like certain areas of the fashion industry. I know for bridal specifically, that is the kind of the exact same format as they all meet at some showcase, big warehouse, and look at dresses. They have to decide kind of what they think is going to perform the best and sell, and what are people going to be into. So it is cool, those parallels of the trend casting and just trying to read people and what we're going to like in a few months.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I feel like buyers have to have such a wide range of what they buy, furniture buyers, because like there's some people who are going to really love this new, like super trendy, like fast fashion concept. And then there's other people who are going to totally hate it. So you kind of have to look beyond what you like and what you think like that every person is going to like, and just like get niche sometimes.
I've never considered how in like home goods and like furniture and things that there is fast fashion as well. But as soon as you said that, I already could think of like checkered rugs and things that's trendy right now, but not.
I was going to ask your opinion actually on checkers, because like the checkered things, the patterns really coming back, and
I do like it, but I also can see how it reads younger and like definitely like a youth kind of look.
It's playful. I've seen it done well with like muted tones, so it's not like white and black. It's like beige and a different color beige or something. So it's not as stark, but it definitely brings a playful element. But there's, like channeling or oversized corduroys totally in. And like some people love that. And I think it's cozy. It's cozy as an accent, but like I wouldn't buy a whole sectional in that.
Right. I was just thinking that I'm like, I could see like a corduroy armchair being kind of like sexy in the corner.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Yeah. A whole couch.
Right. Or even like with fashion, if you were to have like an oversized corduroy coat,
right,
like that would be a specific season or like a fun statement. It wouldn't be like your everyday. Like, I'm going everywhere.
Right.
It's not like your puffer jacket. It's like, a definite statement. Absurdism is totally something I'm seeing a lot. We were just in New York. We went to a couple different interior design, like really interior design spaces. There was this place called Kips Bay, and it's like this show house of all these different interior designers, and they're kind of commenting on what the top trends are throughout the world. And then we also went to Printemps, which is like this department store that's apparently, it's not a department store, they're based out of France, but anyway, it's very like what's new and trending, and there was just so much whimsy and like ceramics that look like a stack of pancakes with syrup, and like bags that look like a little monster, but they're sequined but that's high fashion right now, I feel.
Right. So I love that you brought that up because one of the show themes in Denver Fashion Week is kind of my baby because I like pitched it and, have now produced it a few times, but is maximalism.
Yeah.
And that is that. Yeah. It's like dressing in excess. It's mix matching patterns and crazy colors and just like being bold and loud and interesting shapes and cool stuff. So, it is definitely like a trendy aspect of like high fashion right now is kind of like the weirder, the better. So it's cool. Yeah. And I'm definitely feel like I can think of a couple of designers that come to mind. So one of the designers that I kind of mirrored my concept for maximalism after, her name is Mad Van. She lives in Albuquerque, but she designs in Denver a lot. Her stuff is like really whimsical, playful, very fun, like definitely maximalist. And I don't know, I've never been to her house, but I just like imagine her living room looking the exact same way of like pink and fluffies and colors and patterns and crazy.
Yeah. Personally, I love it. I've always been not normal. And so like that everybody's really showcasing their creativity and not just trying to like fit in, it's like, I think everybody has a different story to tell and a different type of creativity to offer. And that's really on display now with the weirder, the better concept kind of.
Yeah. Those are fun when you like stop caring a little bit too and just get a little playful.
I think mostly in life it's better, especially when you like are, a deep thinker or you're like a try hard person, like trying less, you're actually going to do better.
Yeah.
Because I think like not caring almost, it gives people an ease. Like if people don't look perfect.
Right.
Or your home doesn't look perfect. If there's like a space of playfulness that's a little imperfect, it's more welcoming and comfortable for people.
I like that.
Whether you're dressing a little imperfect or your house looks a little imperfect, it's like people can relate to you.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I don't like when I go to someone's home and it doesn't feel lived in.
Yeah.
Like, where's your stuff? And like you're like mess. Like where's your like notebook thrown on the counter or whatever?
Yeah, well, it kind of just signals to you that you should be stiff almost in there.
Yeah.
Like that's just it's not good for connection, I think. But clunky, chunky things we're also seeing a ton of. Like table bases that are, this table, for example.
Yeah, those are some chunky legs.
Clunky, chunky legs. But I feel like a lot of the shoes I'm shopping for lately are have a clunky base, which is good because I'm a little shorter. So
maybe a little tight. Right. I definitely would say that like clunky and chunky is in the fashion world too, whether it's shoes or jewelry or just like interesting accessories. I feel like is how people are like I'm seeing a lot more like chains and like mixed metals and like people just kind of being more there.
Yeah. And oversized coats and things. Like I'm trying to find a new ski jacket and a lot of them are so puffy and oversized. And I'm like, you only sell this in an XL. Like you've never sold any other size. Interesting, you know? So it's kind of funny. But also I do feel like there's a lot of similarities, like granny chic, nautical. Like I definitely find myself wanting to wear like a cardigan, whether it's granny chic or nautical or, you know, sweaters or really like the loafer trend is huge.
Right. I feel like currently it is more like on trend to dress a little more conservative and covered up and granny like. So
I think it kind of fits into the quiet luxury vibe.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I mean, like florals, antiquing is huge right now. Kind of just like the fashion and furniture is very much taking trends from different decades and melding them together right now. And a lot of that is just bringing in knickknacks that were thrifted or hand-me-down or things like that. Like there's a lot of that in our bookcases, or like this tea tray, like these teacups are from my grandma's china cabinet, you know? So it's like, but that's very much in to do in interiors. And I feel like I'm seeing a lot more like consignment shops in fashion too.
Yeah, I feel like, I think social media has made the thrifting like a lot more trendy and stuff as well. But I think also just the aspect of people wanting things that other people don't have for an inexpensive price, which is great. So I feel like that's definitely similar. And like furniture and shopping for your home is just trying to find those interesting like personality pieces that you can't hang on your bookshelf and people will compliment when they come in your house.
Yeah, because it's just different. Yeah, it feels like there's a lot more of a serotonin boost when you find a score too.
Yes.
At the thrift shop or something. Well, and because of social media, like you're saying, like people are sharing what they scored or like they're kind of like showing how to do it a little bit more. Whereas before it was like, it smells weird in here and the lights are neon and I'm like, I got to get out. Like there's some thrift stores that are still a little hard for me because there's just so much to look through. But I think the really curated selection ones they're like fun, actual retail.
I mean, whether it's like clothes or furniture or any like shopping for anything in the thrift, I have a rule that I can't go in like with an expectation of looking for something.
Right.
So it has to find me.
Yeah.
And it's like some of my favorite pieces. It's like the best when you find a pair of jeans. I'm like, how do these fit my body perfectly?
Right. That's like the ultimate score. Yeah. Is when you find jeans that fit you perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like meant to be. This is thrifted. And I was like, I need like a pants thing.
Yeah,
like
that's
pants
cute.
romper.
I like, and
What is
that's
that called?
denim is jumpsuit. Jumpsuit pants romper. Denim's very trendy.
Yeah,
too. I feel like that's, and what we'll see a lot on Sustainable Night is a lot of like upcycled denim. So
that's really
cool. Could be a good fit.
Yeah, maybe I'll wear this for Sustainable Night. So what does sustainability look like in fashion? I know that we kind of touched on like upcycling, but what else?
Well, Denver is a very sustainable city, like at its core, just Colorado in general. I feel like that's something that we care about. So that's cool. Good for us.
Yeah, good for us.
So what I do think is cool about Denver Fashion Week is that just because certain brands aren't necessarily showing on Sustainable Night doesn't mean that they don't have a completely sustainable collection or at least sustainable elements to it. And that can look a few different ways on the runway. So a big way is upcycling just other clothes, of course, or, embellishing, adding new details to like an already thrifted, like, made jacket or jeans or something.
So many people are like embroidering or like bejeweling.
And that is one of the designers showing on Sustainable Night. Her brand is called Dream Life Designs. She was one of the winners of our Emerging Designer Challenge. She was chosen by the audience to show a full collection in Denver Fashion Week. Her collection is like upcycled denim with like lots of cool, colorful beads and like embroidered in. So super fun to see that. We've also had designers, use unconventional materials like egg cartons and like wires and, keyboards, crazy things like that.
What is that?
It is, as how their brains work and how they like can make it a wearable piece is really crazy to me. And like some of those pieces, of course, aren't meant to be bought and worn down the street necessarily, but
maybe by most people.
Yeah. Unless you're maximalist. More to be appreciated as like, whoa, that's so cool that you could do that. Yeah. Another brand that's showing this season on Sustainable is called Abstraction Studio. She actually, last season, her collection was fully upcycled from furniture and curtains and a lot of cool things like that. So it had a lot of like velvet details and things that you would find like on a couch or in curtains. Not sure what direction she's going with her upcycling this season, but I'm sure it'll be something fabulous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many things out there that have already been made, obviously, whether it's in like interiors or fashion, that it is cool that we can just kind of honor what's already been made well and just patch it up. Or like there's this big trend of, like I was saying, mending, or I can't remember exactly what it's called, but basically like if you have a hole in your jeans, like purposefully putting art over it, like either
like
kind of embroidery or patchwork. So that is a really cool trend. I mean, for furniture, it's definitely upcycling, and like we have a line called Lost and Found that basically buyers find makers in other countries that will take an old door, or even sometimes in the US, but they'll take like old, things from around the world, whether it's like a bicycle or an old door, or things like that, and they'll make it into furniture. And repurpose it into a cabinet, or take like old glass and put that together, tiles into furniture, which I think is really cool. And it definitely adds a storied look to your room, but also just fabric lines, whether it's sofas or blankets or, ottomans that have recycled water bottle fabric.
Wow.
That's becoming
oh my gosh, I had no idea.
And it's actually really soft because, I mean, if you think of like polyester, like a lot of the foofy, fluffy coats and things like that are like furry, faux fur, that's polyester. And so plastic can be really soft. But I prefer it when it's recycled, obviously. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot, or even sustainable woods like mango wood or eucalyptus. Those are a lot more sustainable woods to source from, but they're still really great. So
yeah, it is really like inspiring to kind of see the way that some of their minds work. And it's made me a lot more conscious of like my footprint and, making sure that I'm being more aware of like not just buying something and wearing it once and then getting rid of it. Because even though like thrifting and donating is like a good way to be sustainable, a lot of that still ends up in landfills. I'm trying to think what it's like 80%. That might not be right. Like, don't quote me on that, but it's close to that. Like clothing ends up in landfill. So it is really cool. It's made me more aware of like, oh, maybe I could change this piece instead of just like getting rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that always concerns me too. And it kind of gives you more of an abundance mindset if you're looking for how something could be repurposed, because it's like, look at all these things that we already have. So
well, and I mean, clothing and furniture are meant to be sustainable, and that is another thing of like social media. I think has poisoned it a little bit, where people don't want to be outfit repeaters or like seen in the same thing twice.
It's like that's my thing is I really like having pieces that can go with a lot of different things, and like you were saying earlier with furniture, you can have like just core pieces that you can restyle throughout time. But same with clothes. Like I like having, just neutrals that you can mix and match a lot instead of like really bright, like noticeable things all the time. And then I think that there's like a trend of when people do want those really loud statement pieces, they do like Nuuly or Run the Runway, because it's hard to have something like that in your closet. It just takes up space and you wear it like twice a summer or twice a season. So it's eco and wallet friendly. So what colors are you really seeing lately in fashion? We're seeing a lot of color drenching, which means like everything in the room is the same color between the trims and, you know, doors and walls.
So kind of like a monochromatic.
Yeah, monochromatic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would say, well, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of fall colors right now. So a lot of like burgundies and like navy blues and beiges, taupes, like those type of things. A lot of denim, like I said, is very trendy and very in. And I feel like wearing like full denim fits, like Canadian tuxedo type looks.
Western is so in.
Yes. Yeah. Western fashion is like crazy trendy. I kind of thought that it would die down a little bit by now, but no, everyone's a cowboy.
Maybe it's like escapism in a way, you know, like I want to go live out in the country amidst crazy times.
It's really interesting how trends kind of then do change my opinions of things, because I've never really like leaned towards Western fashion necessarily, but now I own a lot more pieces that would skew that way for sure. And I'm like, what is happening? When did I start liking this?
When I was in New York at the department store, like there were the craziest, most beautiful cowboy boots. And I'm like, I wonder what my family that actually like rides horses and raises cattle would think of this, you know, because they're never meant to get dirty. Like, I mean, I guess they could, but it's like the $2,000 boots.
Right.
So, I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't.
I can't afford to get those dirty.
Yeah.
I am excited for our Western show. We launched that into the lineup for the first time last fall. So we were just doing it annually. We think it fits fall well.
Yeah,
but whenever I'm producing a show like that, it's always important to me that we're not just seeing like the same thing on the runway over and over again. Like we don't want to just see cowboy hats and cowboy boots and, you know, shirts over and over again. So
like, how can you reiterate that?
Yeah. Like seeing how it can translate into like different styles. Last season, I know we had, urban cowgirl that they showed like a full, every outfit was like completely sparkly, but it was still, you know, Western. And then there's a designer named, The Boogeyman's Closet. His name is Carter. He calls himself Y'alternative, and I love it. I told him that he needs to trademark that.
I love that.
He is like definitely very like dark, like gothy, kind of mysterious. Like he always has his models walk to Suicide Boys.
Okay.
But still like with the Western hats, and he has them carrying like cow skulls, and like it's crazy, and I love it.
Cool. I love trend mashups so much, because you can always just be inventing something. And that's, I guess, why I like this. I would say interior design is collage right now too, because it's all the different styles kind of mixed together, but also like the eras. Like I was saying, I'm seeing a lot of like 70s particularly right now, but like, you know, obviously the 90s are coming back. The 60s, I would say honestly the 20s, all the way through, except we had a really dark time in interior design. I would say like from the 80s to like mid 2000s. We really struggled there for a while. There was like a lot of like poorly done sponge painting in Tuscan kitchens and like
I had a sponge wall at my childhood home. I love that. Was a fun painting job. But
we had a Tuscan kitchen, and I splatter painted my wall in my bedroom with metallic paint, and like my dad was so angry because he's like, "There's no way we're ever going to be able to paint over this without like extensive work being done." But yeah, we had a really difficult time, but interior design is really iterating from all those.
So I'm curious, because fashion trends are a revolving door. Of course, nothing's unique. And so I say that it usually takes at least a decade, but sometimes more, sometimes a couple of decades for something to come back into style fashion-wise. Would you say that's similar?
Probably so. I mean, but there's definitely timeless pieces that have never gone away. Like, I think mid-century modern has never fully been out, at least from my perspective. Maybe other people disagree, but I think like a lot of those like classic chair designs particularly like have always been beautiful. So I don't know, I think it's like when something's made really well and with a lot of thought, then it's a little bit trend proof.
Right.
So like skirting, for example, is coming back, which I think it was gone for a while, like the frilly skirting on chairs and sofas. But I think it's always been around like on a linen sofa if it's not as frilly, if it's just like a flat kind of pleated skirt. So
and that definitely plays into the like granny end
yeah.
of it all. So
yeah, Diane Keaton vibes.
Oh,
R.I.P. I know. I actually design a lot of our rooms around her because like just there's that Nancy Myers look and I'm like, make it Diane Keaton. But then I was so sad because she was just truly original.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway, what are you most looking forward to at Fashion Week this year?
I'm really excited for the Western show. Just because I feel like that one's a lot of work to put together for me, but which you think it wouldn't in Colorado. But I just think that it translates so well on the runway and it's such a fun vibe. It really was my favorite day of the show last fall. Sustainable Night is always one of my favorite nights as well, just because I think on the other show themes, you kind of have an idea of what you're going to see, like more so, like streetwear. It's like you can assume it's sneakers and hats and cool jackets and whatever. And like high altitude is going to be like ski and outerwear. Like it's going to be like more specific. But sustainable is so fun because like a whole couture line could be completely sustainable, or it could be like a streetwear look, or it could be
anything
crazy maximalist, like not super wearable, just art, So
well, and it's just so resourceful and creative because it is a creative challenge. I think. So or more so than if you could use whatever material you want. So
I mean, other than those show days, though, I'm always excited to just be in the room with people who are interested in whether it's like fashion or they love like a fashion show experience or they're just trying something new. It's really cool. I feel like I just always get great feedback from people who are like, I had no idea that Denver even had a fashion week and this was so much fun. So
I think there is a sneaky like creative fashion community in Denver. Like you wouldn't necessarily expect that it's like a city of creatives like that, but it really is.
Well, and the way that like we're just known for our like Colorado casual or Denver casual, whatever, where
Patagonia,
the athleisure and and I do, well, whatever. I'm fine with people being comfortable. I do sometimes wish like you weren't in shorts at a steakhouse, but it is sneaky, and so that's I think the outside perspective. People would think that it's not a high fashion city, and we're not, but the like interest is growing and like the talent is here, which is crazy.
Well, and we have, I mean, a lot of artist spaces like the Santa Fe Art Walk has always been a big deal. And just like the production industry is there, just speaking from experience doing photo shoots and video shoots all the time. And so why not fashion? I mean, there's so many sculptures around town that I didn't expect when I moved here that are just like creative, but I don't know. I'm excited that you guys are expanding Fashion Week in Denver, and I'm really excited to see the alternative vibe this year. I love it. It'll be so cool. Thank you so much again for being here, and everybody that wants to see more of Seated, just make sure to follow along on social media. on the Furniture Row account and on YouTube. And you can see a lot more about our Denver Fashion Week partnership there as well.
Yeah.
So
thanks for having me. I can't wait to work with you guys this Fashion Week. It's going to be awesome.
I feel like there's so many creative, collaborative things to do and spaces we can create for people there too. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah. It'll be great. The most fashionable our setup will ever have looked.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. All right. Well, thanks again,
Thank
Nikki.
you guys. It was awesome.
Bye.